Hi everyone, this is Felicat and this is my Unkillable Gypsy build for level 99. Before we start, I just want to say that my character only topped up $5 for the Radiant Pass. I also wanted to let you guys know my progress in case you need a benchmark. Now, let us start. First, I want to show you guys my Gypsy stats as of now. These are my stats without any buffs. Let's start with our P-Def at 2.4k. My P-Attack, on the other hand, is only 2.5k because I don't focus on healing. Next up, we're gonna look at our P-Damage and M-Damage reduction, which is at 78 and 33% respectively. Our PvP damage reduction is at 1000. And those are my stats as of now. However, I also want to show you guys my stats when I'm being buffed by a High Priest, which is usually the case when I'm in PvP. Now, Aika will buff us with all the necessary High Priest buffs. Now, these are my stats when I'm doing real PvP. My P-Def went up to 4.4k and my M-Def went up to 1000. My P-Damage, M-Damage reduction went up to 85% and 40% respectively. So if you guys don't want to die in the middle of a PvP battle, you need to raise your P-Def and M-Def stats. Many of you ask why I'm not using Dex to increase my healing, and I'm going to show you a little experiment after this to show you why I only pick Intelligence. For the purposes of this test, I'm only going to use Gypsy Kiss in my auto settings. Now we're gonna add the Dex up to 99 points. With this stat allocation, our healing can reach up to 45,000 per tick. Some people also ask what happens if we increase our strength. As you can see, our healing went down to 40,000 per tick, so strength is still not as good as Dex when you want to increase your healing. Next, I'm gonna make the build stat allocation for when you just want to increase your intelligence to variable CT minus 60%, full fit, and the rest into Dex. With this build, your healing will change to 42,000 per tick on average. Now, I will use my full support tank build, in which I focus on intelligence to get as much magic defense as possible. Let's take a look at our healing now. Even though our healing went down by 2,000 points, a 5% difference in the healing factor is not enough for me to want to choose more healing over my def. And that is why I choose intelligence over dexterity. So if you're like me and you want to be invincible during your team fights, this is the build that I recommend. Why I think it's important to not die during DD or PvP battles is because the game is designed in a way that if you die, you lose, such as the Goblin King arena. If you die here, you lose half the coins you're holding, you give more points to the other team, and eventually you're going to lose the match. Or, for instance, in the Brawl arena, where you have to resurrect your team as fast as possible so that they don't rack up your death count. Since you're the support, if you die, chances are no one will resurrect you. And in that case, your team would lose the match. Even during the cart race, you're going to want to not die so that they can't push the cart towards your side. The moment you die, no one else can save you because you're the support. In situations like this is the reason why I don't really focus on healing, because chances are your team will get bursted before you can even heal them. That's why the most important thing to do is to be able to resurrect your dead teammates by being alive. That said, I'm still so proud of my team and so thankful that they're carrying me in the dimensional drill fights. Especially since I know a lot of them also only topped up for the Radiant Pass like me. I'm not trying to brag, I'm just trying to show you guys that if you build your character right, you can be in the top rank as well. Now, I want to show you guys the cards that I'm using. Depending on how you play, you can choose to wear the Andre card or the Requiem card. Or if you don't have a support biochemist in your team, you can also use the Golem card. When I'm using Requiem, I deal a lot of fear to the enemies because I have 20% chance of making them feared. I'm also lucky enough to have 2 Tara Frog cards, which is the cards that you want in your shield. For my armor card, I will change it later on to the Illusion Angeling card. This is good if you already have a support biochemist in your team. For my cloak, of course, I still use 2 Chocos. These 2 1-star Choco cards will give me a 10% chance of receiving no damage. Furthermore, it has no cooldown, which I think is quite OP. These are the cards I'm using in my shoes, and I will change the Verit to Moonlight Illusion later on. Definitely use the Osiris card and also the Spore card because it gives you damage reduction. For the headwear, I recommend getting Defiruchi, Marduk, Gearth, or Illusion Orc Hero card. Defiruchi also gives me damage reduction as well as immunity to blind. For the facewear, I recommend getting Rose Ornament. This card gives you a lot of good stats for support. For the other costume parts, I do not have any cards yet, but for reference to which cards I recommend, you can watch my previous video on the 7-day update of my Gypsy. Next up, we're going to look at our Enchants. This is where my Enchants is at this moment. I always take PvP technique when I can. For the facewear, I take improved P-Def, but you can also take the raw M-Def P-Def stats, which is also very good. I just don't have enough Mora coins to change it for now, but in my mouthwear, I use improved M-Def. For the armor, I took the counter crit enchantment. However, in here, you can also take the Vitality Boost. I think it's a good alternative to the counter critical. Since your healing is based on your P attack, for our weapon, we're not gonna take any yellow enchants. We're gonna look at the raw P attack percentage stats. For the shield, definitely take the P damage reduction. But for the cloak, you're gonna want to use the anti-magic damage because there's no P damage option in the cloak. For our shoes, also take the anti-P damage. Our accessories is similar to our weapon, in which we look for the P attack percentage increase. And last but not least, I also always take PvP technique for both the backwear as well as my costume. For the other features such as mounts, this is where my stats are at. You can see I always use the Sunshine Kiwi instead of the normal Kiwi. For my mount equip, I stopped my strength barding at level 30 and now I'm focusing on the upper 2 bardings. These are my pets. I already upgraded my Child of Earth into tier 5 because I'm focusing more on one pet before I open all the other pets. For medals, there is no change. As of now, my Medal of Charm is at level 25 and my Medal of Tempest is at level 23. As for my feathers, I don't really care much about my attack feathers, but my defense feathers are all evened out at tier 5. The reason why I do this is because the cost to upgrade a feather increases as time goes on, but then the stat increase would be somewhat the same, so it's better to even out your defense feathers, in my opinion. You can increase your soul tier and your justice tier as high as possible first with your available resources. And that's it for today's video, guys. I hope this video helps you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments and see you on the next one.